Welcome with this introduction of the System Architect Masters program we offer. We think the role of the architect is one of the most important roles in the company and maybe also one of the most interesting ones, but at the same time one of the most challenging ones. Why challenging? Because you have to be 100% concerned with all the technical decisions in the company. At the same time you have to showcase a lot of leadership skills, not only to your team, but at the same time to all these different stakeholders around the project. My name is Jaco Friedrich. I'm the leadership trainer of the program. I will explain a little bit more about that later on. I hand it over to Ger.
Hello, my name is Schoeber. Jaco explained already that he will talk about more the leadership part, and I would like to zoom in more on a technical aspect. But before I'll do that, I would like to look at a list of the typical challenges of a systems architect. And a lot of challenges that a systems architect comes across, and a lot of things are listed here. I'm not going through all of these items in this list, but I would like to pick out only 3 of them. The first one I would like to mention is the amount of stakeholders that you have. It's not only the customer that comes with a lot of requirements, but maybe a lot of internal stakeholders as well. That the product and the system should be easy to service, that it should be easy to manufacture. All these stakeholders and all these requirements might lead to a lot of complexity. And it is a very important task for the architect to make it as simple as possible, because then it will be more easy to manufacture, more easy to service, and in the end also leading to a better business case. Because in the end it boils down to have a positive business case of your system, your product, or the service that you're offering to the customer. It's not only important to have a happy customer, but also of course to have a profitable kind of thing within your organization. To meet all these challenges, it needs also a certain kind of skills and for the architect. And here are several, let's say, needs for the architect or the technical leader listed as well. And here again, I'm not going through the full list, but I'd like to take out 3 of them. At the top you see something that is linked to communication. Communication, a very important skill that you need to have, and communication is not only about talking, but also about listening. Listening to your stakeholders, understanding them, and really feeling the needs. So empathic listening. Because that'll help to create a kind of a vision for the product. A vision that you should have yourself, but also be able to communicate it to your team and to your organization from time to time. And a good solution is based not only on zooming in on parts, but also to zoom out. The system thinking approach. Maybe that can lead to new creative ideas that come up with even a better solution in the end. And that's filling up the day of the architect. And here are some pictures shown here that typically you might recognize as well as a technical leader. So being able to present your information to your team, to present your vision from time to time, maybe from time to time as well to have a kind of an elevator pitch to explain it to your customer or your manager in a very limited amount of time, to brainstorm with your colleagues about a solution, but also to visit the environment where the product or the system will be used. So to visit, let's say, the customer site. And also in the end phases, that's where the integration is taking place, to also be part of that integration. Because during integration, that's where the unexpected issues come to the surface. And it might also lead to the fact that you have to discuss the nitty-gritty details together with your team to solve the integration issues and in the end to come up with a successful system. So the architect is a kind of a technical leader explaining his ideas, his concept to his team and to his environment. And that's what we like to offer with our Systems Architecting Masters program, built around 3 cornerstones. There's a kind of a structured approach, the leadership skills, but also the common sense kind of things to put it into practice. And it needs more, not only the program, but it also needs you. And you having a good idea about what you like to learn, how you would like to develop yourself, bringing in some experience from practice, but also bringing in a career project that you are responsible for in your organization. Because then you can immediately put the theory into practice. And together with our program, we expect that you will then grow in your competence, being a technical leader, but also that your project that you are responsible for has a positive advantage of having it as a career project in our program. The program consists of 6 months. So we have a 6-month program that before we start a program starts in fact with a kind of an intake. An intake where we sit together to learn from your learning goals, to understand what your career project is about, and to see if that is a positive fit for our program itself. And then we have our first module. And the first module is a kind of a basic module where we explain something about the structured approach of the Systems Engineering Handbook, where we explain something about the Kafka reasoning framework, but also something about the leadership and communication skills that you need to have. And that gives you already a first start in applying some of the theory in your practical project. So we will have some homework. After this homework, we will have the second module. The second module, we will zoom in even more on your project. What is the approach of the project from a technical perspective? Integration aspects we will discuss about, but also the broader context. Your project may be in the roadmap of the total organization, the business case, and also again some communication and personal skills and how to deal with the amount of stakeholders that you have. Again, here we'll have some homework that you can apply the theory into practice, and you also have the ability to present the status of your project to your stakeholders, where you will receive also some feedback from the trainers and maybe some of the peer participants. The last block will zoom in on personal leadership skills, but also how to deal with your team, but also some technical aspects like model-based systems engineering, digital twins, and these kind of modern technologies that we have today. And we try to finalize our project, our approach with also an outtake. We start with the intake, but in the outtake we would like to check if the full program offered you enough to grow as a technical leader, and if it offered enough to make a next step in your project, in your organization. So in fact it boils down to the systems engineering approach, leadership skills, and also the Kafka reasoning framework. Let me explain how that all melds together. The systems engineering approach is a kind of approach where you have a kind of a gateway and phases of the project that you all will recognize that we all have in our project. So also here the Systems Engineering Handbook has this kind of a phased approach. But it also has what is called here a systems engineering engine, where we think about requirements, how it links to architecture, how to put it together into a product or a system or a service, how to integrate it and verify and validate it, which come back iteratively in the full process of the approach that we like to take here. About the Kafka framework. The Kafka framework is a kind of a mindset reasoning framework where common sense comes in. So not only focusing on the requirements of the customer and jumping into, well, let's say the solution area, but also really understanding the problem. So why are these requirements on the table? What is important to all your stakeholders? And can we connect all these kind of things? So that's more how to put it into practice. And that's what we like to put together. So the systems engineering approach, the Kafka reasoning framework, and doing that as iteratively as possible. That's what we see nowadays as well. So not only dreaming from concepts, but also making maybe some prototypes and see if that fits together in a successful product, system or service in the end. I will give it over to Jaco, who will zoom in more now on the leadership skills.
Yeah, so getting from a back of the envelope idea to an actual product takes a lot of leadership skills. One of the first challenges you will encounter is that more and more early in the process you will be asked, okay, what direction to take? And as an architect you probably have a technical heart that might say, well, I'm not 100% sure yet, so maybe I should investigate a little bit more. So maybe you hesitate a little bit. That's a problem, because in the meeting there might be somebody who only understands 30% but has a bigger mouth, and then maybe takes the opportunity to drive the decision. So you have, as a growing architect, have to learn to deal with risks and have to be comfortable in taking position. Not bluffing, people won't believe you, but also not hesitating. You have to take position and say, okay, based on the 80% I know, I think we should do this and go this direction. What do you guys think? Dialogue. So take position so other people can follow you. So learn to be comfortable dealing with risks. Super important. Another challenge is that if you are growing as an architect, you're probably highly connected to the content still, which is also good. But if you do all the work yourself, you'll be drowning in the details. Let's imagine you're at a coffee machine or the water cooler, and your head is full of the details. You might not even notice there's a stakeholder next to you, let alone that you know what to say or ask, because you're not there, you're not prepared. So this whole influence with our power, influencing all these stakeholders, not only costs a lot of physical time, preparing slides, preparing overviews, talking to people, thinking, but also, very important, mind space. So what does it practically mean? That means you need to start delegating parts of your job to the team. So delegating skills is really, really important, leading your team. Otherwise, influencing without power will also be not successful, because you won't have the bandwidth. Very important as well, the more and more you grow as an architect, is the more and more you will encounter all kinds of strong people as well. So you'll be challenged on not only on stress, but also on your hot buttons. Certain people will challenge you. Can you stay calm and open at the same time? Be strong and be flexible at the same time. That has to do with your personality, with your temperament. There you have to learn personal leadership to stay balanced. Also, as an architect, you're a technical leader. That means the team is looking at you. If you get stressed and start slamming doors, the whole design team will be in panic. So you have to stay cool. So therefore, it's important to know what stress is, how that functions in your body-mind system, and how you can stay balanced. All of this and more we will cover in the System Architect Master Program. And I'd like to say a few words how we're actually going to do that. It actually boils down to practice, practice, practice. You'll practice so much that you'll become confident, comfortable in actually doing it. We'll use an evidence-based didactical system from the Galant for it that will lead that you are able to do it after the program. The transfer to your day-to-day practice we will support by coaching, by working with your body, and also afterwards the program you will keep on working with your body at least for half a year. So the transfer until it becomes a natural thing will take a few months after the program is finished. If you have any question, don't hesitate to contact us. You can have a conversation with Ger or with me, and we hope to see you soon.